This is what happened when I took two things most people throw away, cardboard boxes and grass clippings, and turned them into rich, dark compost in 30 days using a composting method backed by published university research. No fancy equipment, no special additives, just applied science, a pitchfork, and a little sweat equity. 30 days sounds aggressive, I know, and plenty of you are already skeptical because cold composting takes months. That skepticism is fair. What I'm going to walk you through today, though, is a method that a plant pathologist named Robert D. Raabe developed at the University of California, and it's called the Berkeley Rapid Composting Method. Published research on the technique says it can produce finished compost in as few as 14 to 18 days, which means the 30 days I gave myself was actually conservative. Real life isn't a laboratory, and I wanted time for a proper cure at the end, so 30 felt honest. I'll explain exactly why as we go. Before we get into the how, let's talk about why any of this matters beyond your garden beds. Food waste and yard trimmings together make up more than 30% of what Americans throw away, according to the EPA, and yard trimmings alone account for about 12% of our municipal solid waste stream. What happens when that organic material lands in a landfill instead of a compost pile is the real problem, because it breaks down without oxygen and produces methane. An EPA report from October 2023 estimated that 58% of the fugitive methane emissions from U.S. municipal landfills come from landfilled food waste alone, and methane carries roughly 80 times the warming potential of carbon dioxide over a 20-year period. Every pile you build at home keeps organic waste out of that cycle, and what you get back is something gardeners have called black gold for decades, because of its dark color and what it does for your soil. Here's the science behind why cardboard and grass clippings pair so well together. Composting is aerobic microbial decomposition, where bacteria and fungi consume carbon for energy and nitrogen for protein, and their metabolism throws off heat as a byproduct. Build a pile with enough mass and that heat accumulates faster than it escapes, which pushes the core into the thermophilic range, 55 to 65 degrees Celsius, or about 131 to 149 Fahrenheit, within 2 or 3 days. The ratio that governs the whole process is carbon to nitrogen, and you want it around 25 to 30 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. Cardboard sits at roughly 350 to 1 on that scale, extremely carbon-rich, while grass clippings land around 20 to 1 and carry about 80% water, which helps manage moisture from the start. According to the University of Missouri Extension, grass clippings contain about 4% nitrogen, 2% potassium, and 1% phosphorus. Mixing 2 to 3 parts shredded cardboard with 1 part fresh grass by volume lands you right in the sweet spot where microbes thrive. If you're finding this useful, do me a favor and hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, join us because we put out content like this every week. 4 factors determine whether this method works or falls apart, and getting even one of them wrong can stall the whole pile. Pile size comes first. 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, roughly 1 cubic yard, is the minimum, because anything smaller can't trap enough heat to sustain thermophilic temperatures. Particle size is the second factor, and this is where most people run into trouble with cardboard. High lignin and cellulose content make it resist decomposition stubbornly, and composters regularly report cardboard still looking like cardboard after a full month in a hot pile when the pieces are too large. Shredding it down to 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch pieces and soaking it thoroughly makes all the difference, because dry cardboard buried in the center of your pile simply won't break down. Moisture ranks third. Wrung-out sponge consistency is the standard guidance, around 40 to 60% moisture content. Grass clippings bring a lot of water to the party, which helps, but you'll likely need to add more each time you turn. Oxygen is the fourth factor, and this is where the real labor lives. Raabe's original method calls for leaving the pile undisturbed for 4 days while it heats, then turning it every 2 days and moving the outside material to the inside. Daily turning can compress the active phase down toward 14 days, while every other day stretches it closer to 18. Here's what the timeline actually looks like from day 1. Mesophilic bacteria attack the easy sugars and starches first, and temperatures climb from ambient to about 40 degrees Celsius within a day or 2. That's when the thermophilic phase takes over, and heat-loving bacteria, predominantly the genus Bacillus along with filamentous actinomycetes, begin breaking down cellulose and hemicellulose. Actinobacteria are particularly important here because they're responsible for that earthy forest floor smell that signals healthy decomposition. Weed seeds and pathogens die during this stage. EPA guidelines, aligned with USDA PFRP standards, that's processed to further reduce pathogens, Specify maintaining at least 40 degrees Celsius for 5 days, with temperatures exceeding 55 for at least 4 hours within that window, to achieve proper pathogen reduction. Somewhere around day 14 to 18, if you've been turning consistently, the pile stops reheating after you fork through it. Dark, crumbly, earthy-smelling material means you've entered the cooling and curing phase. I let mine cure for about 2 more weeks, which brought me to day 30 and produced compost I'd put up against anything sold in a bag. What that finished product can do for your soil is worth paying attention to. What you're looking at in that dark, crumbly material is humus, the stable, complex organic compound that forms when decomposition is complete, and the reason compost builds long-term soil organic matter, or SOM, rather than just providing a short-term nutrient hit. A January 2025 EPA report found that compost can hold up to 5 times its weight in water, increasing both infiltration and retention. Research from the Marine Carbon Project, published by Riles and Silver in Ecological Applications in 2013, showed that a single half-inch application of compost to rangeland doubled forage production and increased soil carbon storage by 25 to 70% over 3 years. That same EPA report cited a 78% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions when organic waste gets composted and applied to land rather than landfilled. The economics tell their own story. $20 to $60 is what bulk compost runs per cubic yard, and the nutrients packed into a single cubic yard can replace roughly $10 to $25 worth of synthetic fertilizer. The University of Missouri Extension found that grass clippings returned to the lawn can supply up to 25% of your lawn's total fertilizer needs. You're turning waste into free fertilizer, and the only cost is your time. I do want to be straight with you about the limitations, because there are real ones. Turning a wet, heavy pile every 2 days is physical labor, no way around that. All that frequent turning favors bacteria over fungi, which produces compost that works well for vegetable gardens but is less ideal for fruit trees and perennials that prefer fungal-dominant soil. If that's your situation, slower cold composting or even vermicomposting, using worms to process organic material, will produce a more fungal-dominant end product. And here's the thing, if your pile smells like ammonia or rot at any point, it's not finished. Immature compost applied around seedlings can cause nitrogen immobilization in your soil, where microbes lock up available nitrogen as they continue breaking down raw organic matter, stressing tender roots in the process. So patience during the curing stage matters. None of those drawbacks change the core equation though. A stack of boxes in your garage and bags of grass clippings at the curb contain everything you need. Raabe himself wrote that the extra effort is worthwhile for those who wish to convert materials which are usually wasted into usable compost, and having done it myself, I'd call that an understatement. If you got something out of this, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me what you're composting. I respond to every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.